trigger. You're gonna hear something about, have you or a loved one ever tried Ozempic? What it is, y'all? What's up? My name is Ebonie if you are new here. So in today's video, I will be talking about my weight loss journey. I've been getting a lot of questions about my weight loss journey here on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok. So yeah, I really wasn't gonna do a video like this, but because people keep asking me, I was like, why not share with you guys the whole process and how can you get the medication and pretty much my journey, where I'm going after this. Without further ado, let's just get to today's video. I feel like I need to do a backstory on why I wanted to try a GLP-1 medication. If you guys don't know, I am married and I have 2 boys. So my oldest was born in 2011 and my second one was born in 2019. So let's just backtrack, okay, before I had these children. Okay, before I had Micah, I was in the normal range. This is like coming from like high school, 2007, 2008. I was always just on the line where I was supposed to be at. I think my lowest weight in high school, I was like 125. Then I freaking like scooted up to like 130. So I guess you could say I was like underweight, like 125, because according to my height and my BMI, like the chart or whatever, it tells me that I'm supposed to be at like 130, you know. So yeah, I guess I was like a little underweight in high school, but this is like senior year. I think I got like to 135, fluctuating between 130 and 135. So fast forward, now I'm graduated out of high school. I am, you know when they say like you gain like that freshman 15, yeah. I definitely gained weight. I was like at 145, which is crazy because that's the weight that my doctor wants me to be at now, and I'm kind of actually already there. So I didn't really start experiencing any like health issues until after I had my first son. So I never knew high blood pressure ran in my family or anything like that until they, you know, checked my blood pressure when I was pregnant, and they were like, oh, your blood pressure is high. That was like the first time I ever had a reading of high blood pressure, and I'm just like, okay, I know certain things come up and pop up like in your family history when you have children, so I'm like, okay, maybe high blood pressure just runs in my family. So up until when I had my first son, that's when my health started to take like, it was like the pregnancy. I know for a lot of people, the issues like with weight, they have been dealing with it for forever, you know. In my case, that was not it. I didn't start dealing with health issues or weight issues until after I had my first son. After I had him, I did lose, I gained about 30 pounds when I had him, and after I had him, I lost all the weight. Honestly, I think that might have been like a combination, like walking with him in England and then also eating the fresh food and the good food that's over there in England. That's like, for what, you know, from what I have learned, America's food, like our food, toxic. It's horrible chemicals. It's like, ugh. Y'all, that's how I feel like that's why I lost like all the baby weight, like initially. So I'm like saying to myself, I'm like, I gotta eat healthy and work out, and you know, it'll fall off or whatever. So I'm like, okay. And then back then, y'all, you gotta understand, I was also younger, so I feel like that also plays a role into how fast you lose weight and how the weight just pretty much like sticks to you, you know, just in general, the older you get. It was like a really hard period in the time frame when I had Micah, but my thing is though, it wasn't postpartum depression because I was very like, you know, up to date. Like I was like, okay, am I suffering from postpartum depression? And no, it was not postpartum depression. It was just straight up depression. I was literally over there in England by myself. Well, I wasn't by myself, but my grandma, from my mom, my sister, like best friends and stuff. I just had my first baby and I'm just like, this ain't it. So when it comes to me, I already know what my problem is. It's sweets. I would literally sit up there and I would binge eat just sweets and sweets after sweet after sweet after sweet, and I'm just like, girl, I have one piece of cake and then it would just spiral into another slice of cake, then it would spiral to the whole freaking cake, and I'm just like, this ain't normal. Pretty much had got all the baby weight off, but for some reason it just kind of just, you know, all the weight just started to pile on and whatnot. This comes with, you know, the stressors that come with life or whatever, and being away from my family in that certain period, you know, of my life. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. Micah is now what, 5 now, like 5 years old, and I'm just like, why am I not like, I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm trying to lose weight, I exercise, I eat right, so go to doctors and stuff like that. They decided they wanted to put me on metformin. If you know, you know. Metformin was horrible. It gave me the worst stomach pains and it was just not good. I have tried metformin and it just wasn't for you good, sis. I was just like, ugh, yeah, not for me. I got off of that. And then it was like some other medication. I can't remember the name of it, but it's supposed to help with, it's not amphetamine, but it was like another type of like pill or whatever. It worked for like a little bit and then my body was like, nah girl, no, you can't have this either. It was just horrible, just everything. I just couldn't keep no food down. I was nauseous, like, yeah. Crazy. And you know, I really didn't know what was going on because like it's a big gap between both my kids. So like for the past like, oh, it's an 8-year gap. It's an 8-year gap between Micah and Dial, and I'm just like, for the past 8-9 years I've been going up and down, like with my weight loss. I'll lose 10 pounds, gain 15 back, try to lose 15 pounds, gained by 30 back. I was just like, it was like the course of like literally the 8 years, and then after I had Niall, it was like downhill from there. Fast forward to me having Niall. Now this is in 2019. I have literally been teeter-tottering on the line of, I went from 145 to pretty much going to what, 160. Kind of went back down after I had Micah a little bit, then all of a sudden it just started going back up. All of a sudden I'm in the 180s. So my pre-pregnancy weight was 180, and then I went from 180 and I gained, I don't know, a lot. I think I was like 205 pounds when I had Niall. Literally could have died on the dang on table because I had him via, you know, C-section. Now I'm at 205 after I had Niall, and I'm just like, you know, you could just feel it. You just feel heavier. And of course I know I just had a baby, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I'm just like, I feel like blah. So after I had Niall, I decided I wanted to go like do like back in the, like, not back in the day, that's like, it was literally 5 years ago. It's like the paleo diet. I tried the paleo diet and I tried the Atkins diet. I've also tried the keto diet. So that's why I'm like, okay, I've been trying like different ways on how I can cut something off and lose the weight. Okay, I was really having a hard time losing the weight after I had Niall. I didn't have such a hard time after losing the weight after I had Micah, but after having Niall, it was hard to lose that weight. Like every time I would get a little bit of the weight off, I say like a good like 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds off, it wouldn't stay off. It would just, I would just easily just, I don't know, like go and creep back up all the way back up to the 200s. So yeah, I didn't know what was going on with my body. Fast forward to 2024, I just got to the point where I'm like, okay, something has got to give. I've got to do something about my health. My doctor here, when she told me about the GLP-1s, and I'm like, what are those, you know? And she was like, you never heard of GLP-1s? And I'm like, no. A girl, please inform me, what is that? So she told me what a GLP-1 was, and if you guys didn't know this, GLP-1s have been around for over a decade. Yes, over a decade. So when it's all this like misinformation like flying around about a GLP-1 and how people are making jokes about Ozempic, and how people like later you're gonna hear something about, have you or a loved one ever tried Ozempic? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's gonna happen, because these medications have literally been around for over a decade, and the fact that I'm just now learning about them is like baffling to me, because I was like, girl, no, my doctor in England, my doctor in Ohio, they never told me about a GLP-1, because she was saying I could have been on like Saxendia. They're a GLP-1, but they're a different type of GLP-1 versus the most popular GLP-1. People have been losing weight on Saxendia and Trulicity for years. The most effective GLP-1 at the time was semaglutide, aka Ozempic, aka Wegovy. When people started seeing more people like losing weight from it, and it was treating diabetes, also treating chronic obesity and other medical issues, everybody was like, oh, what is it about this semaglutide you say? What is it about this Ozempic you say? I heard about it like via like the internet and stuff, but I never knew what it was until my doctor put me up on game and told me about what it was. So I really do feel like it's a lot of misinformation out there about these medications, and if you want to try it yourself, just please go talk to your doctor and just educate yourself on, you know, the subject. Before I started this medication and I was able to see my endocrine doctor, because I wasn't able to see my endocrine doctor, I saw my doctor in like, it was December of 2023 when I saw my primary care doctor, and then I couldn't get in with my endocrine doctor until like February. So I was like, oh, so what are we gonna do? Because when she took my labs, it drew my blood, like blood work, labs, blood pressure, y'all, everything was like out of whack. Everything was high as I don't know what. I've never had high cholesterol, so I was like baffled by that number, because I'm like, dang, I got high cholesterol too? Dang, girl, you gotta do something about this. Something has to be done. Now that my doctor has like informed me about the GLP-1s and what they do, the next thing was she referred me to a endocrine doctor. So an endocrine doctor is somebody that specializes in weight loss, okay? Weight loss and weight loss management. My endocrine doctor, when I tell you, my doctor, my PCM and my endocrine doctor, they are both amazing, okay? Amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better, like two better doctors that are actually working together for the benefit of me. And honestly, I have never had that. I've never had that. My endocrine doctor was telling me more information about the GLP-1s, you know, and they're all in like different groups. I'm gonna put it somewhere on the screen, but I can't pronounce it, but Saxendia and the names Saxendia and Trulicity, they're like a something side, but it starts with a D. I'm gonna put it right here. And then you'll have your other class of GLP-1s, which is semaglutide, which everybody is pretty much familiar with, you know, have heard about, which would be Wegovy and Ozempic. And then you have your third class of GLP-1s that have came out, which is Tirzepatide, which that's the class that I am on. So MOUNJARO and Zepbound. Another thing that's like misinformed about these medications is that people think that people who need the medication to lose weight are taking it from the people who need the medication for diabetes, and that is not the case. Okay, I can't get a diabetic medication because I'm not a diabetic, which would be MOUNJARO. My doctor has prescribed me Zepbound, even though it's the same medication, but it's just for different use. Diabetics are taking MOUNJARO. People who do not have diabetes but have other chronic issues, for instance, I got put on this medication because it was affecting me metabolically and my blood pressure was through the roof. My A1C was off the charts. So for me, that's the whole reason why I got prescribed this medication. And like I said, it is other factors and how you could get prescribed this medication, but that was the factors for me. They just made it to where Zepbound is approved for people with sleep apnea. So these medications are saving lives. I went ahead and got my prescription. I was on 2.5, and when I told you guys I was on 2.5 for a minute, because then by the time it was time for me to go up in dosage, that's when the Zepbound shortage started. I was looking at this like I do with anything. I'm just gonna take it day by day, and it all worked out. So before I went to go see my endocrine doctor, I did go ahead and start my lifestyle change. So before I went to go see my endocrine doctor, I was like, let me go look. Let me look, because I actually keep up with my journey in my phone. My starting weight on this medication was 208 pounds, but I got down to 208 by myself because I was initially 213 before my endocrine prescribed me this medication. So now that I'm on the medication, this is a tool. This is not something that I need to be solely like depending on, you know what I'm saying? So once you shift and change that mindset that this medication is a tool and it's not something that can cripple you, honey, the weight is going to fall off. And that's exactly what it did for me. Also incorporating nice healthy foods, like balancing out your diet, because that is something that I learned about myself in my past. I cannot restrict myself from sweets. They do it for me all the time, but you can eat those things in moderation if you just know how to control yourself, which gets me on the subject of pretty much suppression with this medication and cravings. I will say the medication cancels out like all the other outside noises, like food noise. Never knew what the heck that was until I got on this medication. Okay, so the thing about me not being able to control myself when I ate sugars and stuff, like simple sugars, that's like a real thing, y'all. That is a real thing. I was having such a hard time backing away from just sweets. It was never like really like food for me, like real food. It was always sweets, junk food. I have a serious sweet tooth. I have always had a sweet tooth. It just caught up with me the older I got. But now that I know this about myself, Ebonie's on a better relationship with sweets. I don't need all the ice cream and all the cake and all the candy and stuff anymore. So I will say the medication has helped me out with that. I wouldn't say food noise for me, just sweet noises for me, because honey, the junk food, the sweet tooth noise was loud. It was so loud. And now that I'm in the process of weaning myself off this medication, I'm just like, wow, you've really learned a lot of like tools. Like it's a lot of self-control like that this medication helps you with. And if you've never been through it, I can't really explain it to you. Up until me like actually going through something like this, I wouldn't understand if somebody was telling me like, girl, like you don't understand, I can't control myself, blah blah blah. Without me knowing that I understand now, I wouldn't understand it. I really wouldn't. I do want to talk about like your nutrition part of this. So I do have a nutritionist. I think it's important to consult with a nutritionist when you're on this journey, because a lot of people don't understand when you're on this journey, you have to consume so many, like, well, I'm in a calorie deficit, and that's how I was able to, you know, pretty much, you know, lose the weight. So if you don't know how to calculate what you need to eat, like in a calorie deficit, you need to find out your BMR. So normally you can like calculate those types of things like on an app. You can go on Google and type in, you know, how to get my BMR, and it will show you. So for me, like I said, because I was at the time, I was like what, 208 when I started my journey, and so my calorie deficit at the time, I was eating like 1,600 calories, you know, a day. So, but protein has never changed. She always put me at 100 grams. She said, make sure you get 100 grams or more. She said, if you get more than 100 grams in a day, she said, that's wonderful. Sometimes I don't feel hungry, and that's another thing with this medication. A lot of people just like really love the appetite suppression. Me personally, I don't like the appetite suppression. I love feeling hungry because that's my body telling me I'm hungry. But when it like suppress and it's like, dang, I don't feel hungry, I have to constantly remind myself like, oh, I need to eat. Oh, dang, it's 2 o'clock, I need to eat. But yeah, I personally don't like the appetite suppression, but it's a lot of people that love the appetite suppression, and I'm not one of them. I like to feel hungry. I want to feel hungry. And honestly, if you do feel hungry, that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But yeah, a lot of people love that appetite suppression. And if you can't afford a nutritionist, I definitely say get you one, because that's like one of my big like tools also, was consulting with a nutritionist. Depending on your insurance, I don't know. It's crazy to me how a lot of insurances don't cover this medication, and I'm very fortunate that my insurance, TRICARE, does cover it. Now, I was getting questions about how did I get TRICARE to cover it, because I know a lot of people was having issues with TRICARE covering the medication for them. I personally think because everything, like when it came to my weight loss with my doctors and stuff, like the paperwork was following me from, this has been an issue with Ebonie since 2012. Like all my stuff is like documented. This has been a current issue that has been going on with Ebonie. So I think for me, it was like TRICARE was like, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and approve it. She does not have to take these 3 medications in order to start with Zepbound, which a lot of people that I know have had that problem, to where they have to try all the like other 3 medications first, or TRICARE can approve you for Wegovy or Zepbound. Mind you, I was approved for both of them. So I don't know. Like, I think it was because I had a paper trail. That's why I was able to get approved like that. And then when you do get approved, it's called a pre-authorization. So once you get the pre-authorization, girl, you good for however long the authorization is good for. And then TRICARE has to renew it. I ain't even gonna hold you. If TRICARE wasn't paying for this, I would not be on this medication. I just wouldn't. I can't bring myself to pay. People paying like $550, $600 and some dollars, $1,000 for this medication, like out of pocket. I get it. It's like it's something that you need for your health, because like I said, this medication is saving lives. But I don't know, y'all. I just don't think that I could put my family through something like this. Like, if I can't afford it. If I can't afford it, like, I'm not, no, I don't think I'll be paying for this medication out of pocket. That's just me. That's just me personally. The only thing I have to pay for out of pocket is my copay, which is $38. So I could spare $38, especially for a 3-month supply, because that's what I get mine. Mine is $38 for a 3-month supply. I know some people is paying like $550 for a 1-month supply. Outlandish to me. I am very blessed and fortunate that my insurance, TRICARE, is paying for this, period. Symptoms on this medication, I didn't really have too many symptoms. A lot of common symptoms are constipation. You're adult, you do, like, it's like the more you go up in dose though, I noticed that for me. The more you go up in dose, that's where the constipation like really kicks in, you know. But as long as you take what has been helping me with that is the magnesium citrate and drinking tons of water. Like, get your electrolytes in. Please get your electrolytes in. Manage that. I drink 2 hydro jugs, if you will. This is the 32 ounce. This is actually one of their newer bottles, but normally I would drink like a 40 ounce. I have tons of 40 ounces ones. So yeah, but this is a 32 ounce. I drink like 3 of these like a day, but that 40 ounce, I drink like 2 of those, and I'm good. I'm good with the water intake. Take the liquid IV or some type of electrolyte to like help you get the water down, because I know it's hard. It's hard drinking water. It's hard drinking water if you're not on the medication, but yeah, it's just hard drinking water in general. So definitely, you know, put you a liquid IV in there and you good to go, sis. You good to go. Another thing that I also do to help with the symptoms is like with constipation, I take a probiotic. So I have been taking the probiotic from Array, but I also take the probiotic before, like on my journey, when I started my journey, I took the probiotic from Symbiotica. Okay, 10 out of 10. Definitely recommend. Make sure you're taking all your vitamins, like whatever you're deficient in, make sure you take it, and then also incorporate vitamin B12, vitamin D, you know, if you are deficient in that. Vitamin C has definitely been my best friend. I love vitamin C. Definitely take your collagen, because that's going to help with the, you know, the hair loss, because some people do experience hair loss. That's one of a symptom for some people, like they experience like really bad hair loss. So make sure you are taking your collagen. That helps with that, like I said, and also a hair vitamin, like a straight up hair vitamin, okay? Because I definitely don't miss out on my hair vitamin. That's gonna be in my regimen, period. And then also making sure you get your fiber. So I eat a lot of overnight oats, and that has all the fiber that I honestly need. Oh, and I eat a lot of quinoa, kale salads. You guys know that if you see my what I eat in a day video. I know some people get really tired, like fatigue, you know. I experience that on each dose when I'm going up. So on 2.5, when I initially started, I did get tired. Then after that, I didn't experience that symptom anymore. And then when I moved up to 5, I got tired again. So that's why I'm like, the fatigue for me, it's like every dose, but it's not like every time I take the shot. The symptom that I had learned about, I forgot what it's called, but it starts with an A, where your skin kind of feels like it's been rubbing against something. But I had learned recently that it can happen when you go up in dosage as well, and that's the only time I actually really did feel it. It was when, like, I, you know, was going up in dose. I would feel like that kind of, it felt like a sunburn. You know, if you know what a sunburn feels like, that's kind of like what it felt like. And it wasn't hot. It was just like my skin was just like irritated in certain spots, and it don't necessarily have to be the spot where I inject it in. It's just like sensitive to touch. Like if I touch it, it's just like, oh yeah, that feels like, you know, like I burned myself. But I forgot what it's called, but I'm gonna have to put it right here. Another symptom would be like headaches. I didn't really experience any headaches with it, but I know some people that do experience headaches. And if you are experiencing headache and nausea, I say eat and drink your electrolytes, because it will go away. Not really that bad on Tirzepatide. I haven't heard anybody really talk bad about the symptoms on Tirzepatide versus the symptoms on semaglutide. I know a lot of people was experiencing like a lot of GI symptoms on semaglutide, but Tirzepatide, yeah, it's been really, really nice to me. I do want to touch on working out, because a lot of people think that working out is also like a one size fit all. Like somebody could keep doing like cardio or bench pressing or something, that is supposed to help them like burn, you know, fat. But that's not necessarily what it is. When it comes to working out, you just need to find out what works best for you. I know for me, I'm not really strength training is not my like my go-to workout. Like I freaking love strength training. Obviously strength training is something that I'm newly getting into because I know I need to do it. My favorite form of working out would be morning walks, and this is because I just like the time by myself and it helps me clear my mind. It's like some more time for me and the Lord to kind of just like connect. You're connecting with nature, like outside, like I'm constantly moving, like I'm not bored. Going on a border walk for me is not boring, but me sitting up there sometimes like lifting weights and whatnot, like it's kind of boring to me. It's kind of boring. I only do 30 minutes of strength training. My doctor said that's good enough. 30 minutes is good enough as long as you hit those, like whatever workout you're like honing in on, like if it's like arm day or back day or glute day, if you're doing it for 30 minutes, you're doing good. You are absolutely fine. But I do try to get at least an hour of like cardio in, and now that I finally got my treadmill, like walking pad here in the house, I can kind of get back to doing that because I really do miss like my walks and whatnot. I say when it comes to working out, find something that you absolutely love to do, because you don't want to dread doing it. If you dread like working out, oh honey, it's just not gonna be, it's just not gonna be fun. So morning walks have been my best friend. We've been like this. Definitely find something that works for you. The negativity like around this medication is just like, what? I just don't understand why people are so negative about what somebody wants to do for their life. I have never understood that, but hey, like I said, to each their own, and I'm happy that I did this medication, okay? I have never hid it from y'all, nor did I want to hide it, from you guys, so I'm always gonna be honest and transparent with you guys on whatever, I'm doing. I'm not that type of creator that comes on and lie to people about stuff, Good sis did do the work. Tirzepatide helped me. It was a tool, but I was out there working hard. I was clocking in every day, putting in that work to make sure the weight came off. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. This is not a magic shot. It's just not a magic shot. You just, put in your body and boom, it just melts all the pounds away. No, you actually have to put in the work. A lot of people get hung up on other people's journeys, like with this medication, but everybody's not built the same, like genetically. Like for instance, like for me, a lot of my weight is I carry the weight like in my arms and in my stomach and like my back. The boobs carry all the weight. That's where a lot of my weight was like being carried. I'm 5'2", carry the weight top heavy, versus somebody who is 5'2" also, but they're more bottom heavy. It's just gonna look different. Everything is just gonna shift differently. So you never want to look at somebody else's journey and think like, oh, you're supposed to look like them, because you're not. You're not gonna look like the next person on this journey. Your genetics really do play a role into how you're going to lose the weight for yourself. If we could spot target fat, wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be wonderful? But we can't do that, unfortunately. Like somebody can lose 15 pounds in 3 weeks on the shot. A lot of people get discouraged because they're not losing 15 pounds in 3 weeks. The medication just does not work like that for everybody. It just doesn't. And a lot of people get discouraged about it. So I'm here to tell you, if you thinking about starting medication, or you are already on the medication and you haven't lost as rapidly as somebody else, don't be upset about it. Your body's gonna do what your body's gonna do. Like for me, for instance, like I've seen a lot of people lost 60 pounds in like 5 months, but for me, it didn't work like that. I literally lost 60 pounds in a course of 9 months. My body just was like, hey girl, we just go do this slow and steady. You feel me? We just go do this slow and steady. I do know the faster you lose the weight, it's not going to be as easy for you to sustain it, So, but like I said, to each their own. And I also know that if you lose weight so rapidly, that's how people are experiencing hair loss and, you know, thinning, and yeah. So trust me, it's pros and cons. The pros are, you know, to not losing weight as fast, you know, it's coming off real slow. It's gonna be easier to sustain, and you're not gonna lose your hair like that all fast and whatnot. But like I said, everybody is different. You can't look at one person and think that your journey is gonna be just like theirs, because it's not. And that brings me to like a good supportive system when you're on this medication. When I first started this medication, I was on the medication for a while before I was even comfortable coming to you guys and let you guys know in a vlog. But I went ahead and told you guys, but I told my family and my close friends way before I even started the medication that I'm really close to, and that I know that wouldn't be, you know, judgmental. And I feel like that plays a very important role when you're on this journey. You need people in your corner that is not going to shame you, and just people in your corner that is going to support you wholeheartedly. And I definitely have people in my corner that have like supported me wholeheartedly on this journey. They are truly happy for me, and that's like literally all you need. You need a good support system. So, and the reason why I told them is because I didn't want, and it's the same reason why I told you guys, because I didn't want y'all to think something was wrong with me. Because as soon as you start losing weight, that's the first thing that comes to people's minds. Oh my gosh, is she sick? Is she okay? Or, you know, like, you know, no, I'm fine. I'm better than fine. Now everything is back to normal. My labs are normal, blood work is normal, blood pressure is on the low end of normal. I'm just really happy about that. This medication has definitely brought Ebonie back, and I cannot be more happier, like from the inside and out. When the changes happened inside, it's one thing to see the changes happen on the outside, but internally, when things are functioning in your body the way that they're supposed to be functioning, it's no other feeling, you know. And with me having children, I would like to be here for a long time, to see them grow up, to see them do the things in life, you know. I just want to be around for a very long time for myself and for my kids, you know what I'm saying? I think I hit on everything that I need to hit about my journey with Tirzepatide. Like, it has been a wonderful experience and journey so far. I'm not completely done yet with my journey, but I do hope that, you know, I kind of helped you guys with something in this video. If I didn't, definitely let me know down below. Ask me a question. If you don't feel comfortable with leaving your question in, you know, the comment section, feel free to private message me if you don't want, you know, your business out there. You feel me? But yeah, guys, like I said, this journey has been an amazing journey, and if you guys have been following me for a long time, you guys have seen the physical transformation. I went back and I looked at some old videos, so I'm just like, why y'all ain't told me I was that big? Who is that person? So yeah, if you guys have been here from the beginning of, you know, rocking with your good sis, you guys have seen the transformation, and I am very appreciative and very thankful for you guys being with me on this journey as well, because you guys have seen it. You have seen the transformation. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really do hope that, you know, you got more informative like about the medication, because I know there's some scary things out there, some scary information, but the medication really is not that bad. It's not a bad thing. It's, like I said, it's saving lives out here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Also, if you are new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I would love to have you. And blessings to you all, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.